Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Messy Middle. Today, I am honored to have Monica Gail Kriese on the show. Monica is the owner of Gail Force Marketing and Management. She created her business as a solo parent to work out the needs of her son who has complex mental health challenges. She developed a niche market as a virtual marketing agency. While most business owners recognize the importance of social media to their overall marketing strategy, few can actually proceed. Most lack the time needed to properly understand and maintain their social channels. To meet this need, Monica offers a full-service marketing strategy that integrates social media with their marketing plans. Welcome, Monica. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I love talking about marketing. So this is just a wonderful opportunity. So thank you.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you because, as you know, we're here to talk about the messy middle. With marketing encompassing so many factors, many entrepreneurs get overwhelmed and don't know where to start or focus their effort. I'm one of them. So I'm hoping to gain some clarity on that with your help, of course.
Oh, absolutely. I'm in the middle of my messy as well. And yeah, it's good though. It's great to be in a place of reevaluation.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, taking stock and also offering tips and suggestions to businesses to just sort of help them new directions and fine tuning what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So to get us started, what do you think is the very first thing a business owner or entrepreneur needs to know when it comes to marketing or to reevaluate?
Well, the first thing I would be asking them is, do you have a mission and a vision statement? And does it align with the marketing that you have been doing? And that's a complex question. But in a nutshell, your mission statement is what defines your company's business and its objectives as well as its approach to reach those objectives. And the vision statement describes your desired future of your business. Quite often people use elements of their mission and vision statements. They combine them together to provide, they make a statement of their company's purpose and their goals and their values. So for me, those are very important pieces that drive everything you do in business. And if you don't have one, and quite often we get started in business and we're really good at what we're doing, and this step doesn't happen for a number of reasons. But it's a great time to develop both of them right now as we're looking at things and we're in the middle. There are resources on the web that you can use to develop them, or you can bring in someone like myself to facilitate the development of your mission and vision statement. And I also want to mention we have some great networks available in our particular area with our Shoe Shop Women Who Wine group. Sitzway also is awesome. And so look for resources within where you are networking, because there's a lot of gems there that can help you with developing your mission and vision statements. And from that point on, once you have that, what's really important now, and many people don't do this, is to do a marketing audit, a self-evaluation of what your marketing assets are. So create your inventory of what you're doing for your marketing and take a look at them. Do they align with your mission and vision statements and your goals? Because things change over time and we need to, it's just a lovely path that we're taking, and it's time to focus and say, well, I want to go in this direction. So what do I have to change or amend? It's important to gather data about your marketing performance, and you need to look at your social media channels, and that's where you look at those insights, including your website and your e-news analytics, and see how you're doing. And for traditional media, such as print and radio, because there's still a lot of people using those, do a customer sampling. Find out how well you are doing with that. Is anyone even reading your ads in the local paper? And I'm not dissing on the local paper, but sometimes we need to kick it up and do something differently. And then you want to compare your results to your goals. And if something's off, then more than likely it's time for a change. And that's when you want to say, okay, I've got to do things differently, and how am I doing them differently? Sometimes we as business people tend to focus our efforts on a social media channel that we like best, but that isn't where our target customer is. And that's where we have to really spend that time with that audit.
Yeah, that's great. So I love the thought about reconnecting with our purpose and reevaluating where we're at and who we're trying to get in front of, right?
And I think that during the pandemic, there's been a shift on most businesses back into customer service.
Hmm.
And we're doing it differently. So how does that align with your goals and your values, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to say, how do I get this across about how my customer service is or isn't? And so, yeah, those are the starting places, and it doesn't take long to do it, but it's really important to do that and to be really honest with yourself, because, you may really, really love being on Instagram, but if your potential customer or if your loyal customers aren't there, Instagram's your fun place to be.
Yeah, great point. So with all of these social media platforms and print and radio, what do you think is the best platform to engage with potential clients?
It really depends on where your customers are. And it's such an individual thing. And I know some people will say, oh, Facebook, or Twitter or Instagram. Until you know where your customers are, then that's the best place for them to be. So I like to give people a picture of the different, for example, the social media channels and sort of who their main target audiences are. And once they've done this analysis of their own their customers, they can say, oh, I'm in that age demographic. Maybe I should shift my focus to this. So how about we do a review, just a quick review of some of the popular social media channels?
That would be so helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's start with Facebook, because after all, people are saying, shouldn't we all be on Facebook? And I have to admit, Facebook has been very helpful during the pandemic, because you can push out something that's happening daily in terms of your business or your hours or your special, but that isn't necessarily where your customers are. Some people say, well, why is this even a question? I'm on Facebook all the time. But the thing is Facebook does have more active users than any other social media network by a landslide, but that doesn't mean that their activity is necessarily buying and selling or taking advantage of your offerings. So with all their users, you want to make sure that if you're going to be on Facebook, that your customers are also there. Just some interesting data about Facebook is that the average age range of users is 25 to 45, and that's the average. Of course, it's more females than males. And the primary purpose of Facebook, and this is very helpful for people to understand this, is to build your brand loyalty and your reputation. It establishes your business as an authority of what you're doing. It's a great place also to do customer service. And it also, you can reach segments, various segments of your audience with just one post. That's when you're doing paid advertising. And it's an opportunity to create ads that drive traffic to your website or your blog. The dialogue that happens on Facebook can be very rich. And if you're reading comments on your page, or if you have a group, you get to see a little bit more of what your customers are interested in. So it's sort of a place to spy, but it's helping inform you to do better. So that's some of the great gems of Facebook. Twitter, on the other hand, a lot of people forget about Twitter, but it depends what business that you're in, because it's really fast to get news and information. And if you recall, during the election, a lot of people were going to Twitter right away to find out what was happening in the news first, as opposed to some of the other platforms. And now that Twitter, actually, tweets are now 280 characters long. I can see I need to update that. Now that Twitter allows you to say more, you can get more information and have more dialogues. It's very great to push out news and to get news. So depending on who your customer is and type of customer that you want to attract, Twitter has a really great place in the market. Twitter, now here's surprising, their average age on Twitter is 18 to 29. And when I read that data, I was like, seriously, I thought it was older, but I was wrong. It's split 50-50 female male, which is quite interesting. And maybe that's because guys like to say less. I don't know. Its primary purpose is sharing news and quick updates. So that's where you would create your new items, push out your brand. You've got some new content you want to let people know about, and it helps you to always be collecting instant feedback from your audience. So if you're wanting to do something very, very quick, or you want to follow your industry and you have a hashtag, that's where hashtags are so functional, is Twitter and Instagram. So it's a great platform for PR as well. Instagram is growing in popularity. I know so many people that love Instagram, but in terms of it for their business, they often don't realize where its strengths are versus what you need for business. So it's growing, and it helps to humanize. And when we say that, those pictures really make your brand that much more believable and authentic. And you don't have to be perfect on Instagram. It's like, take a picture and upload it. If that's what people love, just snapping that photo and seeing that product being used, or having you talk about your latest webinar or something like that. It's like, because you're real. And so that gives it its personality. Instagram, now this did not surprise me, is that the average age range is the 18 to 39 year old, and a little bit heavier skewed female, but guys really like Instagram too. And so it's another place to build brand loyalty, be very authentic. And then you can also, they allow you to create ads on Instagram as well. If you're trying to push out a new product or something, a new offering that you have. And it's ideal for sharing personal stories. And personal stories are so great with almost every product around. And whether it's a customer loving something, whether it's you saying why you switched to this product, it's a beautiful place to share those types of things. Another one that is growing in popularity, doesn't suit all businesses, but it definitely has its purpose, would be Pinterest. And it's also a social network, but it's visual. And by having those boards that people pin things to, you can create brand awareness. The people are very active. You can share your board. You can share your boards on Facebook and drive them over to your Pinterest account. So it's a very functional, interesting social network that you can get a lot of traction to your website on, or to your blog on as well. The average age range is 18 to 34, 80% female. And that,
wow.
I thought, well, I was surprised by that, and I keep trying to figure out why, but who knows, data is data. But it lets you deliver content in an easily shareable format. It helps you to, I just find Pinterest so easy to pin something, create these albums, and then later on I can go back and read it again, or share it, rather than bookmarking everything as well. So it's really a handy social media platform. So yeah, those are the sort of the top ones that I recommend, but it really depends. If you look at your customer base, is it males aged 34? Where, and have you asked, where are they on social media? What do they use? What's their preferred choice for social media channels?
Great. Thank you, Monica. So between posting on all of these social media forums, blogging, and online client engagement, it seems like it can be a full-time job alone. So how do I, or any business owner, focus our attention on the activities that will turn into real results for our business?
Well, interesting enough, here's an interesting statistic that I learned, and I remind people of this. The average amount of time spent by small businesses on social media is 6 hours a week and counting.
Oh, wow.
And we know that small business owners work more than 40 hours a week, but that's 6 hours or more. And I think that that's what gets overwhelming. When I was first starting out in business years ago, my Gail Force Marketing, I had a business coach who had said to me, how much time are you spending on your bookkeeping? And I had first year accounting, and I forget how many hours I said. And he said, why? It doesn't make you money. And he said, you hire someone for that. And basically, I was hiring a bookkeeper who was doing my books for 2 hours a month versus me taking 8 to 10 hours to do my bookkeeping when I could have been out making money. And that was sort of his intent, is hire a professional to do this for you so that you can do what you're best at. So I always, if you have that ability, keep that in mind, because that's so important. My recommendation is start with one social media channel first and do it well. Learn the ins and outs of it if you're going to do it on your own. If you have the resources and the people power in your organization to implement more than one, because that's where your target audience is, then go for it. But you don't have to. Do one, do it well, learn it so that you know it like the back of your hand, and you're not spending hours trying to come up with content or scheduling or anything else like that. I also remind people, social media is about being social. So it's not always about you. It's not always my product. I do this, I'm selling this, blah, blah, blah. 1/3 of it is about your business and what you're doing, but 1/3 of it should be about your industry and sharing content from other people, other like-minded people. And the other third should be about, say, your community that you live in and sharing events that are going on so that people are talking on your, say, your Facebook page or any of your other feeds. And when you're sharing, that creates an interest in what you do. You're more authentic. It's not an all about me type appeal. Instead, it's about, this is someone who cares. This is someone who's social and is using social media as it was intended. There are, I say to people, don't be lazy and use one type of social media sharing software to share the same thing across your channels. And I know people go, oh, but I don't have time. And they'll post the same thing. You'll see it on Twitter, you'll see it on Instagram, you'll see it on Facebook. And it's got all the hashtags all across those social media channels. And the savvy customer knows that you're being lazy. And they're on that social media channel for a reason. So people go to Facebook because you can talk more. And they don't like hashtags. People go to Instagram because they just want a photo. They want to search a hashtag, but then they can do quick little 1-sentence replies back and forth. And so you have to remember, it's okay to post the same thing. You have to just change what you say about it across the social media channels. That takes time. And that's where people get stuck and say, well, I can't do it. And so they use Hootsuite or something like that. Whereas it's better, that's when you might want to hire someone to help you develop your content calendar and to also help you, maybe teach you how to schedule stuff, as well as how to, maybe they would do some of your content for you.
Right.
And I know it's tough, but if I schedule my social media time for twice a day and I put that in my calendar, I find that I have better content, and I'm not, all of a sudden 3 days can go by and you go, oh my gosh, I haven't posted anything on Facebook today for my business, and it can get away on you. And ideally, we need to be posting very regularly on our channels in order to stay into people's feeds, because the algorithms are what they are, right?
Yeah. Great. Those are all very helpful tips. What would you say is the best paid advertisement in terms of return on investment?
Well, that just all boils down to what social media channel that you've confirmed your target market is using. So if there's no sense even paying for ads if your customers aren't on Facebook. If they're on Instagram, you're certainly wasting your money, and you're better off to do that analysis, spend the money on finding out who your target customer is. And sometimes your target customer can be seen in your insights that you have for your social media. Although a lot of the time you should be asking them online when they order something or at the till. It's a real simple thing, and you just keep a little check mark, what's your number one social media channel that you're using? And tick, 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 17 for Twitter this month and 3 for Instagram. It's like, ooh, maybe I need to shift and go to Twitter.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it all brings it back to that very first thing we talked about, which is analyzing your customer and knowing where they spend time.
Yeah. And that's where sometimes in that audit, you see the facts is like, wow, I'm not getting a lot of traction. So maybe I haven't found out where my customer is. Or sometimes our customers shift too, because our offerings have shifted. Yeah. And that's a great thing. But it's a matter, well, what I did before isn't necessarily what I need to do now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So as somebody who says I need to build my business and get real results now, where should I start? Have we already
A couple of simple questions is, do you have a business plan? Do you have a mission and a vision statement? Have you done a current marketing audit and updated your marketing strategy? And if the answer is no to any of those questions, that's where you start. And just again, a reminder, take a look at your networks and see who within your network does that work, and contact them to see if they would be interested in helping you. It's not a pricey thing to do, but it's money well spent. And once you've done that, then you have a plan and you can take ownership of it as much as you want, or you can say, you know what, that's not my thing. I'm going to job this out to someone else. And yes, the KISS principle, keep it simple and smart. Don't spread yourself so thin. Even though this might be the messy middle, you can clean up your mess and you can focus on just that one thing that you've learned where your target audience is. Work on that. There are people out there like myself that can teach you about scheduling ads. We can teach you about how to find content easier than maybe what you think it is, because some people are like, I don't know what to say. Well, there's a lot of simple ways to go get content. And part of that is by liking other people's pages. And once you've liked someone, share their content on your page and sort of like, isn't this a great deal that Laura's offering? And poof, all of a sudden we've got 2 of our target audiences talking and seeing each other. There's the social aspect, but the reach grows exponentially that way.
That's wonderful. Well, I really just want to thank you so much for all of these amazing tips. And I'm so grateful for your time today. And I think you've really helped clarify and give us some practical tips on what we can do to get started and what activities we can take to move our marketing strategy forward. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope people realize it's not a big task, but it's an important one. And in this time that we're in right now, it's a really good time to be looking at these things.
Yeah. Thanks again, Monica.
Thanks, Laura.